Now, what better way to give your career a breath of fresh air than to respond to shots fired, reignite a rap beef, and drop a diss track on them, let alone two, then tease us with a new experimental track? But what happens when the internet isn't sure if you really ate that? One of your former best friends hops in to clown you, and word on the curb is people ducked out of your live homecoming performance. Now, that's just a little bit embarrassing. And at this point, JT cannot be serious, or maybe she is. Let's talk about it. But first, welcome to the channel. Hey, hi, what's with it? I'm C, and I do rap and pop culture commentary. So if you're into that, subscribe and hit the like button. Now, what do you know? Just when everyone thought JT was keeping it quiet on the music front, here she is teasing a new track, Girls Gone Wild. And I gotta say, the first reactions have been interesting. Some people love the rap, pop, rock experimental vibe, which honestly could give her more international appeal. But the real rap heads, they're wondering if she's ditching her original sound and reaching for a new audience. Looking back at her song All Stars and her collabs with Pink Pantheress and Doechii, maybe this pivot's been in the works for a while, and she's been flying with this aesthetic for quite some time. But maybe, just maybe, she's trying to distract us from everything else that's been going on lately. Because let's be real, out of all of the shady disses that Cardi B dropped on her album, Magnate might just be the most disrespectful and the catchiest, specifically the portion aimed straight at the city girls, especially JT, painting her as a fake friend, something that only hit harder after her messy Twitter feud with Saucy Santana. And it felt like he wanted to go off on her for a while. He accused her of being scared to unfollow Cardi B, knowing that she didn't like her, along with disliking Glow and Doechii, who he says carried her last year. He claimed that JT allowed Nicki Minaj to break up the city girls by not telling Young Miami about the super freaky girl queen mix, okay? She had to find out on the internet just like us. Saucy even said that JT stole the City Cinderella concept, which was actually for the group. And listen, with friends like that, who needs enemies? But we should have clocked that when she snatched the mic out his hand at Rolling Loud. I would have had to let her have it. And that's on period. I'm not surprised Santana went off because listen, he was living for Cardi B's new album, lip singing and quoting lyrics like a super fan, rocking the Cardi B mullet Wiggiana. JT clearly caught feelings. She spent hours subtweeting and shading to the point where even I thought, damn, why is she wasting so much time with those Twitter fingers instead of hopping in the booth? Especially considering the fact that it's not like she has any new music out. No teasers, no announcements, and her last single was over 6 months ago. The hype has literally ran out. And then boom, she finally dropped 2 diss tracks, Keep Coming and No Hook. The problem? Listen, neither one of those hit. Both tracks were leaked and then mysteriously pulled. Maybe by her label, maybe by JT herself. Either way, the damage was done. Keep Coming sounded like a City Cinderella leftover, and while No Hook did have some potential, it wasn't enough to win the internet back. Although I have been seeing her pop out at these performances, rapping a couple of the disses with her fans. Lately, it feels like JT has been doing everything but focusing on the music and what her fans really want. And these diss tracks, her attitude towards the Cardi disses, and this new sound kind of reflects that. But we can keep it a buck. The newest trend when it comes to being a rapper, especially a female rapper, is slowly transitioning into becoming an influencer, flaunting the brand deals and collaborations, showing up at the fashion shows, and possibly doing a little 1-2 performance at branded events. It's a career cushion, a bit of safety if all goes wrong and your next project is shelved. And it's the perfect excuse to take a little breaky break from music if you're feeling uninspired. You sell us a lip kit, show us your new dog off, and essentially tell the fans to kiss your ass. But it's been a little quiet lately when it comes to the music. During a time where so many artists are holding their fan bases near, as they should, because we're out here in a recession, baby. This probably isn't the best time to switch up your sound and persona and instead stick to your guns. Perfect what you've built so far. Give people a little something to stay interested in long enough to stick around for your performance during a homecoming concert. Now, I know y'all have been seeing people clown JT during her most recent homecoming performance at Alabama A&M University. People walking out mid-set, videos going viral, and reports that school officials were begging the crowd to stay. Ouch. But there were people saying that the performance was trash, with silent pauses in her set and no stage presence. One of the shared sentiments on social media is that JT was essentially the headliner, performing last, but also after Jeezy, with the lineup being JT, Jeezy, Young Nudy, and Bossman D-Lo, which I feel like since JT has gone on this solo run, it's like they smush her in between these trap music artists. It's kind of fitting, but in that same vein, many of them have hits and fan bases that are stronger than hers. But one thing that I immediately thought of, aside from all of the other reasons why people assumed that JT was walked out on during her performance, is because of her as an artist and an individual, and all of the shit that she's been doing lately and not doing. It's frustrating because JT really used to have this hunger. She knew that she had to rebuild her fan base after the City Girls, and she was humble about doing the smaller shows, the barbecue, pulled pork, fried fish supper plate performances in the sugar shacks and the kickbacks that even she embraced and made a little bit of fun of. But somewhere along the way, that drive faded, and maybe her label doesn't know how to market her either. The hood rat tricking lane is drying up with the sexy reds, and the fashion girl lane is overcrowded. Cardi's dominating this whole luxury rap. Ice Spice has the baddie aesthetic on lock, and Doja's in her own lane entirely, although she has been dabbling more in pop lately. Meanwhile, JT runs the risk of being boxed in as the ex-city girl turned influencer if she doesn't evolve. It doesn't help that she's burning bridges left and right. While other female rappers are patching things up and collaborating, JT is completely isolating herself, even from Young Miami. Santana claiming that her label tried recruiting people to side with her during the beef, and no one did. That sounds a little too believable. At this point, likability is becoming just as important as talent in rap music, especially for the women in rap. You can have the bars, but if people don't want to root for you, it's game over. JT's got potential, but unless she humbles herself and locks back in musically, she's going to keep slipping. It's something about her calling herself the Queen of Florida while fussing with Santana that was a little bit too delulu for me. When we have Trina right there, I'm gonna need a few hits from you before you can even touch the bottom of that trophy. Matter of fact, you're a new age Florida girly. You should be collaborating with Trina. As someone who excelled as part of a duo where we thought that she was the lyricist, or at least the one who was better at delivering verses, it's kind of like all of her weaknesses are on display now that it's just her we're looking at. She is quite literally morphing into Carisha, except Carisha actually seems like she's ready and willing to drop, if she's matured enough with her music for her label to move forward. At least she's been cosplaying in the studio and claiming that Tyler jacked her song. I mean, she's working on something. Now, lately, JT has also been saying she's been going to the studio. You know, she had that track with Pink Pantheress, which is a remix from her deluxe project, Fancy Some More. You know I love me some Pink Pantheress. I don't love the song though, and if anything, we need more JT collaborations with the R&B girlies. Like, we needed another Summer Walker and JT track. I'm not saying she should completely ditch the rap rock alternative vibe that she's playing with. I could tell on her CC project that she really wanted to do more with that. I just feel like do a little EP with one pop rock track and one pure rap vibe. Otherwise, she's just experimenting to experiment. This sound doesn't feel authentic and genuine. But anyways, how do you feel about JT's Cardi B disses? Do you feel like she's managing to hold her own in the female rap space? And if not, what do you think is hindering her at the moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.